How's it going, guys? It's Angelo and Chris. We're back with another episode of Music Monday. We spent a while in the 70s. That's because there was a lot of great acts to show you guys, and the 80s is no different. So let's jump right into it. First off, we have the group known as The Band. They played here in 1985. We found them in the 86 yearbook. And it's pretty interesting because they're playing at the time, when they're a lot less popular compared to their peak. But this was almost a tribute concert, playing a lot of their 60s and 70s songs. And scrolling through, we can see a lot of pictures of the performance, and it looks like a really good time, to be honest. Moving to the next act, it was actually the first of the 1980s decade, Jerry Garcia, in the year 1980.
Yeah, so February 28th, 1980, Jerry Garcia and his band played at Kean. And this night featured a couple sets, an early set and a late set, both of which seemed to be pretty well received, as the yearbook states. Fans stomped, shouted, whistled, and clapped their way through the night. So both sets were pretty well regarded. Throughout the night, they played a mix of original songs and cover songs, one of which being After Midnight, which originally written by J.J. Cale, but famously covered by Eric Clapton. But the yearbook mentions that this cover that Jerry and his band did, Eric Clapton would be hard-pressed to top. So, pretty high praise, especially for that cover, but the concert overall seemed to be a great time. Now, Jerry Garcia would play a couple more times throughout the 1980s, but this one is most worth noting because it ended up becoming a live album titled After Midnight, which named after the cover that I just mentioned. And, a lot of the concerts that happen at Kean, or really most of them, you can't actually go and listen to. So, you read about them in your book, you hear that they're great, but you can't actually really put yourself there. But this is really maybe the only, but I don't know that for sure, but it's certainly a rare instance in which you can actually go and listen to the concert that happened and actually maybe put yourself there and kind of get to experience it for yourself.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it definitely makes it, that much more special within our, musical history that we're covering here. And last but not least, the last performance that we wanted to showcase today is Billy Idol, probably the biggest act that played within this decade. And he played here twice, once in 1982 and again in 1984. And that's the performance we found an article on, the 1984 performance, titled Billy Idol Rocks the Capitol Theater. We found this in the Independent student newspaper. And, this is a huge article, just focusing on how great this concert was. They titled it as a triumphant return. And, it truly was triumphant. But the songs that he played, Eyes Without a Face, Rebel Yell, many more of his hits, it seems like, it was a great concert. You don't have to really use much of your imagination to kind of picture how exciting it was. The only disappointment, as they put it, was that Billy Idol didn't return for a second encore. So he came out once for an encore, but that wasn't enough. They wanted him to come out again, and he probably was just too tired, I can imagine. Something even more interesting, right under this article, there's actually an ad for Cyndi Lauper's concert just a few weeks later, and that's something that we're going to be covering next time. So thank you guys for listening, as always, and we'll see you next week.